Good Friday morning. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker. 2 days late, but here we go. We're talking about the Canterbury scene. The Canterbury scene, or the Canterbury Sound, is a scene that originated in the city of Canterbury, Kent, in the UK. Late 60s, early 70s, associated with prog, a blend of jazz, rock, and psych music. That's right. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and show you 15 bands that I listen to. And I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the records from those bands. So we're going to start off with a band called Caravan. And Caravan was started in 1968. There's a blending of psych, rock, jazz, and classical music. David and Richard Sinclair, Pye Hastings, and Richard Coughlin are the members of the band. And this is their first album. And this album here, if I could do it again, I'd do it all over you, is their second album. In the Land of the Gray and the Pink. Waterloo Lily. And Plump in the Night. And then they made a couple more records after that I didn't pull out of the old prog band over here to show you. But that was on their downhill slide, so to speak. So those were the records that started off the band. The next band I want to discuss is Hatfield in the North. Hatfield in the North were around from 72 to 75. And they were an experimental Canterbury band in the scene, so to speak, with Phil Miller, Pip Pyle, Richard and David Sinclair. And you're going to hear these names over and over and over because they are all going in and out of all these different bands from the Canterbury scene. And here's Hatfield in the North's first album, being a promo. Their second album, The Rotters Club. This is an album of the last live concert, and they're on this recording Over the Rainbow, and they do a song on here, which is on the second side. And this is an album called Afters, and it shows you how they come up with their name on the cover. Third band, Henry Cow. Henry Cow was founded at the University of Cambridge in 1968 by Fred Frith and Tib Hodgkinson, and is a mixture of experimental rock, avant-garde prog, art rock, Canterbury avant-garde jazz. Learning in Praise of Learning. Henry Cow. These guys are really, here's a promo copy that I found online for like $5. And it's on the Virgin label. The fourth band I want to talk about today is National Health. They were formed in 1975, a prog band associated with the Canterbury scene, featuring Dave Stewart of Hatfield in the North and Alan Gowan band Gilgamesh. Bill Bruford was the original drummer for the band, and they included prog, Canterbury, jazz fusion, psych, and experimental. It's their first album. And of Cues and Cures. And D.S. Alcoda, which was a remembrance of Alan Gowan. He had passed away. Excuse me. The next band I want to discuss is Camel. It was founded in Guildford, Surrey in 1971. A prog band released 14 albums, never achieving mass popularity. Numerous members. Core group was Pete Bardens and Andy Latimer. Kit Watkins also played on one of their albums, and he was from the American band Happy the Man. It's their first album. Here's a copy of Mirage. Another cover of Mirage. One is the UK, one is the US. Here is the Snow Goose. Here is Moon Madness, the American release. Here's the UK cover. And those are just a few of Camel's albums. Soft Machine, another band of the Canterbury scene, was founded in 1966 with Mike Rutledge, Robert Wyatt, Kevin Ayers, David Allen, the leader of the Canterbury scene, one of the first psych British acts, later moved into prog and jazz, and Alan Holdsworth played with them. I'm going to show you today the albums that Alan Holdsworth played on. Here's Bundles, Land of Cocaine, and Alive and Well. Next band is Matching Mole. Matching Mole is a prog band with the Canterbury scene. Robert Wyatt formed the band in 1971. David Sinclair, David McRae, and Phil Miller and Bill McCormick of Quiet Sun joined, and they made 2 albums. Here's one of them. And here's the Little Red Record. Gilgamesh, the British jazz fusion band, active in the 1970s, led by keyboardist Alan Gowan, assisted with the Canterbury scene. They made 2 albums. Alan Wakeman, a cousin of Rick Wakeman, played sax on Gilgamesh. After Hatfield and the North broke up, Gilgamesh emerged. All 3, National Health, Hatfield, and Gilgamesh, all intertwined. Here's one of the Gilgamesh albums. I do not have the other album. It's on my radar. Steve Hillage, a guitarist associated with the Canterbury scene, member of Gong, Uriel, Gong, Egg. And in 1969, Hillage studied at the University of Kent in Canterbury. He has recorded several albums with several different bands. And here is one of his albums, Fish Rising, which actually should have been Uriel's second album, but he decided to put it as his first solo album. Robert Wyatt, the grandfather of Canterbury music, founding member of Soft Machine and Matching Mole, he fell from a hotel window and became a paraplegic in 1973. He is also retired at this moment. Here's one of his solo albums, The End of an Ear. I do not have any other of his solo albums. Currently, the band Gong is a psych band formed in Paris in 1967 by Aussie David Allen. They had a blend of psych, prog music, space rock, jazz rock, Canterbury, Steve Hillage, Pip Pyle, Dave Stewart, Bill Bruford, Alan Holdsworth, plus many other people played in this Canterbury band. Here is Espresso with Alan Holdsworth. And this is the same album with a different cover with Holdsworth. Again, I'm showing you the albums that Alan Holdsworth played on with Gong. And this is Expression 2. Egg, English prog band, formed in 1968, made 3 albums and quit in 1974 with Dave Stewart, Mott Campbell, and Clive Brooks. I only have their first album on vinyl. I have the others on CD, which I'm selling my CDs If you look down below, you'll be able to find all my CDs that are for sale in Discogs. Quiet Sun were an English progressive rock band, jazz fusion, Canterbury scene with Phil Manzanera, Bill McCormick, and they made one album in 1975. Phil Manzanera from Roxy. Very good album. We're getting to the bottom here. Is there any records here that you need to buy? Yeah, you need to buy them all. You need to get all these records. If you love prog, this is a great group of albums to pick up. Con is an English progressive rock band from the Canterbury scene from 1971 to 72, formed by Steve Hillage of Gong from Uriel. One album was made with Pit Pile on drums. Dave Stewart on keys. It was actually Uriel's second album. And that ended up to be a Steve Hillage album called Space Shanty. Not the aforementioned album. And of course, we're going to have Uriel as the last with Steve Hillage. Their album, Our Zatchel. They were a psych blues rock band formed in 1968. Had Dave Stewart, Clive Brooks, Mott Campbell, which would go on to Egg. And there is 15 bands in the Canterbury scene. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell, and you'll know the next time the North Carolina Vinyl Picker will be on, which I will be back this Sunday showing you what I picked up this week and what other shenanigans I can come up with. Plan on getting out one more time here pretty soon to scavenge the area for vinyls. I say vinyls? Everybody take care out there. Welcome to the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. Have a good time. Get out there and breathe the air. I'll be talking to you soon on Sunday, and support those troops if you can. I will talk to you soon. North Carolina Vinyl Picker, I'm out of here. I got to go get some breakfast.